First of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar with that.
A lot of things have been said at the DNC that are patently untrue. Let's do a little bit of fact-checkery all of our own. For example, one of the things that they seem most proud of is the creation of jobs. But have they really created nearly 1 million jobs? It's already been debunked right out of that glistening arena in which they seem so pious and pleased.
The U.S. Labor Department goofed. Bottom line. Off by nearly 1 million in their most recent report when they revealed just how many jobs were created.
It's an abrupt about-face for the U.S. labor market. Newly revised numbers from the Labor Department were stunning, showing 818,000 fewer jobs were created over 12 months, leading up to March 2024 than previously reported. Data revisions are common, but not to this degree. This correction is the Labor Department's largest downward adjustment since 2009. But it's not all bad news. Many economists were expecting a sizable revision, possibly up to 1 million jobs less.
See, it's actually good news. You know, in our country, they adjusted the way that they calculate excess deaths because the number of excess deaths in the post-pandemic period, not during the pandemic, post-pandemic period, was eerily and troublingly high. So instead of investigating what might have been causing excess deaths, they simply changed maths itself. It's true. They went in there and said, we're going to calculate excess deaths differently now. And when you say differently, do you mean that you're going to come up with a lower number of excess deaths? Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And the same is true with jobs and potentially all information. There is apparently in our modern world with this surfeit of information, no objective truth, simply a series of narratives that can be utilized to facilitate power. A billionaire is good, a billionaire is bad. Paying off hush money to someone that's made a claim is bad. If paying off a hush money to someone who's made a sexual claim is no problem at all. It just depends what you believe in. We created 1 million jobs. There are not 1 million jobs. Joe Biden appears to be likely guilty of having used his position to facilitate financial opportunity for members of his family while vice president. That don't matter. It all just runs in a broth and froth of frivolous madness through the news cycle, and power continues its march just the same. Trump posted, of course, about that job statistic information. Here he is saying that it's sort of not true, and then going on to say that our life savings will be wiped out. But my favourite thing is this Gina Raimondo, Secretary of Commerce, by the way. She doesn't believe that what Trump posted is true. But it's funny because it comes from like the Bureau of Labor or some somewhat independent source. Look at this. This is brilliant, because bearing in mind that this woman is the Secretary of Commerce. Listen to her response.
When you hear that, do you potentially think that this new numbers could be a liability for this campaign?
No, when I hear that, first of all, I don't believe it because I've never heard Donald Trump say anything truthful.
It is, though, from the Bureau of Labor.
I'm not familiar with that.
Look, I'm the Secretary of Commerce. I don't care about bureaus of labor. That we don't care about poor people or working people anymore at the DNC. We've made that clear. There's a testosterone problem. People with testosterone in their bodies can just F the hell off, and so can the Bureau of Labor. And do you notice how the template remains the same? When asked a question about some data, she pivots to a personal attack on Donald Trump. I don't believe that anything that Donald Trump says. Oh, all right then. What about when yesterday said he liked Michelle Obama and thought that Barack Obama was a good man but had made mistakes in government? Don't believe that either. You remember Project 2025, that book that Donald Trump wrote? I thought it was The Art of the Deal. What? No. It was that book, Project 2025, a think tank much like the Atlantic Council, which are one of the groups that continually tell you that the only way to peace is war. The only way to free speech is to control speech. You know, 2025 may be a Christian-funded think tank emergent from the Heritage Trust or Fund. It may be that. It may have a lot of ideas in it derived from Christianity. But the idea that it is a part of a manifesto of Donald Trump is yet to be proven. Certainly, he has not participated in its creation. But I suppose facts are malleable these days at a convention where 1 minute billionaires are bad and the next minute billionaires are good, and 1 minute Joe Biden's inept and has to be dispatched, and the next minute he's being given a send-off like a poor old soppy old dog. Let's have a look at the claims that are being made and fact-check them when it comes to Project 2025.
I think they're both important false claims because both were on a central subject of Democrats' attacks, and that is Project 2025, a conservative think tank's proposals for a next Republican administration. Listen to this claim from Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester of Delaware about Project 2025 and former President Trump.
He has, with his friends, said the quiet parts out loud, but not only said them out loud, he wrote a book about it. What's it called? Project 2025.
That is false. Trump did not write Project 2025. The project's big policy document published by the Heritage Foundation think tank lists dozens of people as authors, editors, contributors. Donald Trump is not among them. A Project 2025 spokesman told me tonight no candidate was involved with the drafting of the document. Now, it is fair to say Trump has extensive ties to Project 2025, and CNN has reported that more than half of those authors, editors, and contributors worked at some point in his administration. But that's different than saying Trump actually wrote it. Now let's also play something that Colorado's Governor Jared Polis said about what's in that Project 2025 document.
Page 451 says the only legitimate family is a married mother and father where only the father works.
That is also false. Project 2025 does not say there is only one kind of legitimate family, let alone say that families in which a mother works outside the home is illegitimate. A Heritage Foundation spokeswoman who's a working mom herself told me tonight the governor's claim is a lie. Now, if you read the page the governor mentioned, you'll see it does express a preference for a certain kind of family. It says, quote, families comprised of a married mother, father, and their children are the foundation of a healthy society. It then goes on to criticize Biden policies that supposedly subsidize single motherhood and focus on LGBT equity. You can obviously debate all of that, but nowhere does Project 2025 say a family is not legitimate if the mom has a job. Jake?
So whether it's 2025 or the number of jobs generated under the Biden-Harris administration, it seems there are a lot of facts that require checking. This is what happens when you don't focus on the information or the matter at hand, but just focus on vilifying and smearing any opponent of your regime. And I'll reiterate my own position once more if you're interested. I don't think that you can solve the problems that the world faces right now without radical review of the institutions, systems, and some of the peculiar crimes against our entire kind that have taken place in the last century. If you just want me to list three off the top of my head, I'd say look into the assassination of JFK and be transparent about the results. Look into what happened during 9/11, be transparent about the results. Look into what happened during the pandemic period and the couple of years before it and be transparent about the results. From that, you will be able to deduce what the problems are and how unlikely it is that those problems will be solved by organising people in a different configuration within the same constellation of corruption that created those problems. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat? For surely that is where such things will be resolved. Those are some facts, fact-checked for you right there. We can't continue to bring you this beautiful content without the support of our partners. Pay attention. We are, as you know, living in perilous times. You can't trust the establishment with news. You can't trust the establishment with law. You can't trust the establishment with health for another second. I'm going to protect my family with a contagion emergency kit from the Wellness Company. You can too. This kit is your frontline defense against whatever they throw at us next. That's some incendiary language. It includes ivermectin, HCQ, Z-Pack, Tamiflu, along with a nebulizer. I can't live another day without a nebulizer. Rest easy knowing you have emergency meds on hand with a guidebook for safe use. You could make all sorts of mistakes down there in the lab. It'll be like the Monster Mash. Every family in America needs one of these kits. It's like having urgent care in your own home. Get your contagion emergency kit now for as low as the cost of a single doctor's visit. Be proactive, be prepared, take control of your health. Don't wait for their next crisis. Go to twc.health/brand and grab your contagion emergency kit right now. That's twc.health/brand and use the code BRAND actually, and that will save you $30, I think, at checkout. Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.